Bill with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live for the second conference. I know it's already happened. This is the reaction from that. I got a little bit of it this morning. I seen a little bit of it, and what I saw was hilarious. I mean, I was just getting out of the bed, long night, people. So, when you guys come in, hit that like button. So we're gonna go through segments of this press conference, and we will declare who's the winner of this press conference due to comeback and counter punches and trash talk and energy and a lot of things. So when you guys come in, hit that like button. Mario 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 counterpunch to you, brother. Hit that like button when you come in, please. So this is Stephen Espinosa as he starts off. We'll start off with this right here. So we'll go through deck by deck, piece by piece, spec by spec, bars. Ed, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you is in the building. Ed Dot is in the building, people. Let's go.
Of Kell Brook. He's had 6 successful title defenses against outstanding competition. Lamont Peterson, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Yordanis Ugas, among others. One of the strongest resumes in the sport. Terence Crawford won his welterweight title in 2018. Also made 6 successful title defenses, all of them by KO or TKO. And in fact, Terence has stopped his last 10 opponents in a row. And now he's looking to become the undisputed champion in a second division. But really, don't take my word for it about what this fight is about. Let me give you how you guys, the media, have described this.
Okay, that's Stephen Espinosa. Of course, he's the guy from Showtime. And, he went back, he compared Errol Spence, and he mentioned his accomplishments, with Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Yordanis Ugas, Kell Brook, and he got 2 of those belts off of, 3 of those belts off of Yordanis Ugas, Kell Brook, and Sean Porter. Now, mind you, all elite guys, but understand every one of those guys, except for Kell Brook, excluding Kell Brook, were PBC fighters. So those fights were very easy to be made. The only fight that I thought that scratched my head on why didn't it happen was Keith Thurman, but it was Keith Thurman himself, with injuries and getting married and, playing the flute and all that shit he does. That fight didn't get made the way it's supposed to. But other than that, all those guys that Errol Spence fought were PBC guys, okay? They were Al Heyman guys, so that was going to happen a lot easier than other guys like Terence Crawford and company. You know what I mean? So just mentioning that, counterpunching what Stephen Espinosa said, in his breakdown between the two. Now, he did mention Crawford stopping the last 6 opponents, actually the last 10. And, it really wasn't no one that he mentioned. So he didn't go in detail for Terence Crawford. So that just shows you, maybe because of the ignorance, maybe he just didn't know him. But of course, he had to know Kell Brook and he had to know Sean Porter. So he could have added that to the stable on the list of people that Terence Crawford stopped. Okay. So, and that just shows you the favoritism in there and just letting you guys get familiar and aware of that. But let's continue.
Matchup that will decide supremacy. The biggest event the sport can offer. A matchup to perfection. The most exciting fight in this decade. An opportunity to become a superstar. That's what's at stake July 29th. It all kicks off with the first episode of All Access, Saturday, July 8th. Second episode, Saturday, July 15th. And of course, the pay-per-view, Saturday, July 29th, at a special time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thank you.
It's time to hear from the camps.
Look, Errol Spence looks tired.
Let me acknowledge, on the Crawford side, Bud Crawford's assistant trainer, Saul Dieguez. Good to have you, my friend. Coming to the podium now is the head trainer for the WBO.
Bomac. Bomac.
Spence is the co-owner of B&B Boxing Academy in Nebraska. World-renowned trainer. He is Brian Bomac McIntyre.
Big Mac. Come on, Team Crawford. He has to win. Waiting on this to time. Hit the like button. Kirk, did you see the blue blood and Spence encounter? Ha ha, that was gold. No, I didn't.
Everybody came out to the press conference to support this big fight coming up. Thanks Showtime, Stephen Espinosa, BBC, Spence, Derrick James. I especially want to thank my man, the champ, Crawford, for putting his foot on the pedal, for making this fight happen. So I really didn't have too much to say today, more than what I said yesterday. But I will tell you this. This is how the fight gonna go. The fight is gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough. Errol's a good ass fighter. And I took my hat to him for what he had accomplished in his boxing career. I took my hat to you, Derrick, man, for doing a good job with your fighters. The first couple of rounds are gonna be real tough. But then we're gonna start walking away with the fight, like we always do. Like my man said, Bud just stopped his last 10 opponents. Just maybe, Errol gonna be number 11. So listen, y'all tune in, July 29th. Get your tickets. Y'all gonna miss something if y'all don't attend. Y'all gonna miss one of the most spectacular performances that you ever seen come out of Bud Crawford.
And those are words of Big Mac, Bo Mac. And as he explains, you got to respect the honesty. Okay. First of all, you got to respect the honesty. You got to respect the respect for both trainers and the respect for the trainer and the fighter. Okay. They know that Errol Spence ain't coming to fold. That big ass dude is not coming to fold. Errol Spence is a big boned, heavy, durable, workable, active, powerful, dangerous welterweight. Okay, and they know that. This is not going to be one of those fights like, he's a pushover, he's overrated, he can't do this, he can't do that. No, it's none of that. And you can see that. You can see the respect bleeding through. And also, keep in mind of this too, people. Keep in mind of this too. When you're dealing with this type of fight is projected, and the objective for this fight is not for it to happen. The objective for this fight is for this fight to sell. That's why I'm screaming all the way across the pond to the other side of the pond. Buy the fight! Because it's going to be a fight that you don't want to miss. You guys remember Lee? You guys remember Conlon? You know what happened in the 11th round? Conlon got knocked out of the fucking ring. It was one of the fights of the year. Right? Munguia, you had Deverenchenko. Those guys were scrapping like cats and dogs. That's how this fight's going to be. This ain't going to be no bullshit fight. It's not going to be like a Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather when both of these motherfuckers are late 30s. It's not going to be like that. It's not going to be a Danny Romero and Johnny Tapia, Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, because those were like, what are we really looking at? What are we really seeing right now? It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be something different. That's what you expect when you get these guys that have these undefeated records that have been fighting all their lives without suffering one single defeat, not one single fucking draw, not one any of those imperfected things that I just mentioned. Okay? And shout out to James West with that rich because he's blessed by the best. Appreciate you, brother. Much love, much love. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Okay, so no, I didn't see the blue blood and Spence encounter. I didn't see that. Impo. Anyone know how to fix username appearing on comments instead of a handle name? I haven't did it in so long. I don't know. I don't remember. Somebody help him, please. King Mike Hall in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Skrilla 50 in the building. What's up, Kurt? And the rest of the Counterpunch community. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's go and let's grow. That's what I need to know. We need to go. Grow. Bars. Let's continue.
Thank you, Mac. Now from the Spence side, let me acknowledge as well the father of Errol Spence Jr., Mr. Errol Spence Sr.
Oh, this is different.
There. Good to see you, sir. Jordan Eisel as well here. Let me bring to the podium now. He's the trainer of the Unified Champion. 2017 Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year. 2019 Sports Illustrated Trainer of the Year. And also the 2022 Boxing Writers and ESPN Trainer of the Year. He's the owner of the world-class boxing gym in Dallas, Texas, Mr. Derrick James.
Hello everyone, I'm very happy to be here. This is a very exciting event. Can't wait. I mean, I think it's something that everybody's been hoping to see, wanting to see. Now, it's not here, but everything is going on. Everybody's in camp. Can't wait to get it started because I know that Crawford's coming up with his A game, and Errol's going to be on his A game. We're going to see a phenomenal competition. And for me, I'm really kind of tired of talking about it. It's like, it's work time. So I can't wait. And I know it's going to be a phenomenal night of boxing. I see Errol's going to shine. As he says, the thing that really gets me going, that one-sided ass kicking that you normally puts on. And yeah, we're fighting a phenomenal fighter. At the same time, we're going to be who we are. Errol's not going to change. He's going to put the pressure, break it down, and win the fight. No different than anything else, anybody else. Even though this is the best and most accomplished boxer in boxing, is Terence Crawford. 135-pound champ, 140 undisputed champ, and 147 WBO champ. With all that said, beautiful, because we are here now, 4 guys standing on the podium, and everybody watching. And they don't come out and see a masterpiece and Errol Spence put together another phenomenal victory over another tough and very vicious and deadly fighter. It's all about being successful. That's what it's all about. That's what you'll see on July 29th. Errol Spence becoming the undisputed champion of the world, just like the first day we walked into professional boxing, exactly what he said he wanted to do. And that is exactly what it will be. July 29th is the first ever in this era 4-belt undisputed champ. Thank you.
Thank you, Derrick.
So, Derrick James, the trainer of Errol Spence, just came forth and said what he needed to say. He said his 2 cents. And counterpunching Derrick James, you know, he's like, hey, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. We're up against one of the best fighters in the world with Terence Crawford. Okay. I think it could be good and bad, what Derrick said, because like a lot of times when people, especially with a style of Errol Spence, when they say they're going to do something different, that's not really a good thing. Normally it's not. Because if they normally go in and kick ass, beat you up, break you down, maybe knock you out, and then they say they're going to change, that's a red flag. But there's no red flag because Derrick James is saying that they're going to do the same. Okay, that's the important thing we need to understand. So that's a good thing. Like, hey, this is no different, you know, but it is different because, you know, if you looked at the last 5 opponents, none of them has measured up to what Terence has done. Okay. Ugas, he's been beaten. Porter, he's been beaten. Kell, he's been beaten. Who else was there? You know, I mean, a lot of those guys Errol Spence got in there with was already beaten. You know, because he got his IBF strap from Kell Brook, which Kell took it from Sean Porter because Kell beat Sean Porter, but he took his strap in the UK. Right, he raised the gear, got the job done, stopped Kell Brook, broke that other side of that eye or whatever, um, got the IBF. Then from that, he went to Sean Porter, which Sean Porter had the WBC, because he had it and he beat Danny Garcia for it, right? So then I think that's the one that Keith Thurman relinquished, right? Because he had all this shit going. So then he beats Sean Porter for the WBC in a very good fight. Back and forth fight with Sean Porter and Errol Spence, and those guys got it on. Very, very good fight. Errol Spence took that off of him, gave him that flash knockdown in the 11th round, and I think that solidified that fight for Errol Spence. Okay, that's the IBF, then the WBC. Then comes the WBA. He was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao. He was going to fight him. That fight was going to happen. But this is what ended up happening. Errol Spence had a detached retina or something like that, right? Is that right? And he had to have surgery, so that fight was not what it's supposed to be. And then Ugas ended up fighting Pacquiao, and Ugas upset Pacquiao. Then Ugas fought Errol Spence, then Errol Spence stopped Ugas. That's how that went. So we went from the IBF, the WBC, then the WBA. Meanwhile, the WBO, Terence got from the beginning, from Jeff Horn, the undefeated Jeff Horn that beat Manny Pacquiao. Do you remember that? In a very controversial decision in Australia. Okay, so then he beats Jose Benavidez. Then he beats Amir Khan. Then he beats, who else does he beat after that? Who's that fourth person that he ended up knocking off? Because he made Amir Khan quit, honestly. Mean Machine. So then he beat Mean Machine, all right? Kavaliauskas, is it? Then after Kavaliauskas, he fought this guy, Abanesian. Then he beat Abanesian. Okay, so, I might have missed somebody in between there somewhere, right? But, yeah, he took those guys out. So, did I mention Kell Brook? But anyway, let's see what we got going. Yeah, this fight should have happened years ago. Peter, it should have happened years ago, but it didn't. You know what I mean? And dude, I was around with all that. I remember what happened. Look, I'm exhausted to really rehash that. That's an exhausting topic because it doesn't matter now. It's not like this is 2 years from now and then we're having this fight because the fight would be dead in the water. We're having that fight when both of these guys are still undefeated. Both of these guys still look good. They both have impressive wins and knockouts and performances and all that good stuff. So, yeah, you can say the thing about a lot of fights. Well, here's the thing, Squirrel 50. Let's look at it like this. A lot of fights don't happen. So, we just sit around and talk about them, at the bar, having a beer, have to run, take training, bro. Pro debut soon. Watching rest of the video later. Have a great day. Mario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Man, I hope all is fine. Yeah, man, keep me posted, man. Keep me posted. Drop me an inbox in Instagram. Vincent N. Errol won that press conference. We're going to talk about it. We're through. We're going through it. We're going through it. Vincent N. Yeah, I'm going to come back to that. I don't know what that. Oh, Big Fish, King Grayson, Swarty, Bud gonna stop this guy, Kurt. Yeah, I think that would be the best thing he should do. My boy Kurt, top 5, salute King. Appreciate you, King Grayson in the building. Marlon Thornell, member. If Spence gets hurt like he did in the Ugas fight, Crawford will finish him well, here's the thing. Spence will be aware that Terence Crawford, or he should be. Terence Crawford he has instinct. instinctively ferocious person. Okay. So he should know better. So if he does, he should expect that. Really, like how Errol questioned the belt sanction and fees, he had the perfect platform. Hopefully something that changed because it was bull that they take percentage from their check. Well, I mean, he had a good question. I just did a video on that. I mean, that was a very good question, though. So if Spence is asking where this is going, had everything on the platter from Al Heyman, obviously it had to be some kind of discrepancy on where they can't deliver where this money's going. Besides some damn body's pocket created into a check into somebody's banking account. So yeah, it's a very good question. I just think more people should ask that question. Unless you're on the inside and you know where it's really going. Ladari, Kurt, who wins? Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. I don't know. At this point, I think that we have to. I want to see what truly Anthony's made out of. And maybe a fight like that with Wilder is going to show him. You know what I mean? I think that's what I feel. That's what I think that if anything, Joshua, he has a lot to prove to himself, to the guy that's training him, to everybody. I think he has a lot to prove. But first of all, to himself, because you know that Jermaine Franklin fight was not what we thought it was going to be. We thought that fight was going to last 6 fucking rounds, and if it don't, it's going to be a poor performance, and it lasted all 12 rounds. That's what happened. Exciting fight no matter what. Peter Thomas, absolutely. Terence has been too inactive. Okay, he's been more inactive than Errol Spence, Peter. What are you talking about? He fought Avanesian this year. Errol Spence hasn't fought since last year, and that was against Ugas, where he got rocked. He got his mouthpiece, his linears, his mouthpiece knocked out of his mouth. So I don't know what you're talking about. You've been counterpunched. Bud is a deadly fighter, just how Derrick said. I like that compliment he gave him. And you know what? And Derrick James, people, also recognized that, yeah, I need to get on my A game from the last performance, or the last press conference, rather. The last press conference, he got counterpunched by Terence. Because he said Teofimo Lopez is an undisputed 2 times, double times. No, it wasn't. He's lineal WBO. That's the guy that has the Ring magazine. Okay? And the Ring magazine, he beat Josh Taylor for it. Therefore, he becomes the lineal. Okay? That's what the lineal means. The Ring magazine owner. That's the lineal champion. And see, Derrick James didn't know that, and I think that kind of embarrassed him. So he knew, let me go home, let me read up on Terence Crawford, you know, and let me be on my A game next time instead of my C- game or C+. Right? So that's exactly what happened, I feel. So yeah, because he did, you know, but you know, Terence Crawford didn't really stomp his head in the mud too bad. He really just nice try, but sorry. Sorry. No. So we're going to continue. Bomac is way better trainer than Derrick James. I don't know that Skrilla because then again, you got to look at the fighters. Terence Crawford, gifted. Errol Spence, very talented. So you don't know. See, a lot of times these trainers, the question you ask yourself, if these guys, these trainers can take a fighter or take a person off the street that knows nothing, how well can they do with them versus a guy that's been bred, that's been grown, that's been trained to be this fighter? Yeah, that's one thing. Okay. What can you do with somebody? Let's put it this way. What could you show somebody that is failing as a fighter? What can these trainers do for these fighters that they need work with? Can they help them? Can they help them improve? Can they do these things for them? That's the question you ask yourself. Can these guys offer assistance to these guys that's lacking? Take, for example, Shane Mosley Jr. Shane Mosley Jr., yeah, he needs help. He needs somebody. Yeah, he won his last fight, but I mean, he struggles in his fights. He's not like his father. Can Bomac or can Derrick James be an asset to this man that makes him a better fighter? That's what you need to ask yourself. And James West with that wrench, once again coming in with that dub. James West, blessed by the best, keep them coming. That's what I'm talking about. Marlon Thornell just signed the Teddy Atlas petition yesterday. Have you heard about it, Kurt? Hopefully it works out. Tired of these judges ruining our sport. Marlon Thornell, I tell you what you do. I'm going to support that as well. Send that to my Instagram. Inbox me. I'll sign the petition. I'm tired of these judges too, because where do they come from? Who hired these motherfuckers? Who are they? What expertise do they have? Do they have expertise? Were they fighters before? Were they amateur? Were they pro? Were they semi-pro? What were they? Because it's like you see these guys, Chuck Champa, Rum Cam, Julie Letterman. Like, okay, Julie Letterman. Oh, yeah, she's been around the sport. But I mean, what warrants these people to be judges? I mean, honestly, what warrants them to be judges? Seriously. What warrants them to be judges? So I ain't caught you live in a minute. Big up KD each and every time. Daniel Bakar, you know what, man, I am here. I want to do another live stream. I think Friday I'm going to try to get one in because I travel Saturday out. Same question I asked King Mike Hall. Heard you were speaking the truth. Man, I try, man. I can't speak a lie. Why would I lie? You know, it's my responsibility to give you guys the best possible news and advice about boxing. That's what it is. You know, so it is what it is. You know, so is there a boxing judge school? Exactly, King Mike Hall. Is there a boxing judge school? I mean, let's be real. I mean, what warrants these guys? Have they been trained like boxers? Boxers are fucking trained. Trainers were a lot of the times they were fighters of the old. They just weren't good fighters. Some of them were. Okay, Teddy Atlas, he was a boxer once upon a time. He just had a bad temper, got in street fights, so I got that cut on the side of his face. Mills Lane was a professional boxer. He had 10 fights. I think he had one loss, right? So yeah, it's a lot of these guys that once were boxers, so they know the ins and outs. They know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. But what about these judges, people? What about these judges? That's what I want to know. So let's continue. After the Derrick James, pretty impressive. I think Bomac was a lot more exuberant and, you know, I think in his delivery, you know what I mean? But to be fair, both of these guys are not really that AB or Muhammad Ali type fighters. Okay, so let's continue.
Listen, you came here to hear from the fighters. Let's get right to it. Come to the podium now. Is a man who's got a 76% knockout percentage.
Crawford
moved up to welterweight. You heard it. He has stopped every man he has faced since he's been at 147. Folks, this man is the former, undisputed, super lightweight champion of the world. He was the 2014 Fighter of the Year. He is the current WBO welterweight champion of the world, Mr. Terence Bud Crawford.
What's up, everybody? Let me say that again. What's up, everybody? That's what I'm talking about. I gotta be excited for this fight. This is a fight that's been marinating for years. Like I said before, I'll say it again. This is greatness. This is definitely greatness that you guys will be witnessing July 29th. I've been preparing my whole life for this moment right here. Moments like these, they don't come often. And this is my time. Like I said before, this is my time. This is the Terence Crawford era. Ain't no holding me back. not Errol, not Derrick, nobody stopping me from accomplishing what I want to accomplish July 29th. A lot of people say why it took so long. Doesn't matter, we're here now. And July 29th, I can assure you, I can promise you, y'all gonna walk away and y'all gonna say, that kid is special. And y'all gonna mark me as one of the greatest of all time. Right along with the Floyds, the Ollie's, the Fraziers. And y'all can sit there and say, oh, well, you ain't fought nobody. And my reply to that is, I guess Errol is just another nobody that I ain't fought, that I fought.
Now, okay. Counterpunching Terence, Bud Crawford. Okay, now, Terence Crawford is not known for his personality. He's not known to be that guy that's, hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, how y'all doing? Let's get right, let's get hyped, let's get ready, let's get steady, let's do this. I'm ready to whoop Errol Spence. I'm ready to take him to school. I'm ready to fry this kid, fillet him, all that, chop, chop, chop. Let's make some steaks. Everybody's gonna eat. He's such a big fish. I'm gonna feed the whole stadium this big fish. You know, you didn't hear that. You know what I mean? He's just, what's up, everybody? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna, this is a legacy fight. I'm gonna make sure that I do my best. I am the best, and I promise you that that nobody can stop me. I promise you that, because when I get in there, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna be at my A game. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be at his A game. You know what I'm like, yo, okay, yeah, that'll get you hype. That'll get you hype. And this is what I suggest. I suggest that both of these guys, if they, with the personalities that they have, I suggest that they have hype men. They need people to talk shit for them because they're not that dude. And don't get me wrong, people. These two guys fighting speaks for itself. But then there's a problem. You got to speak it up. You got to talk it up. You got to build it up. And that's the problem. People see, they're like, we're going to go in there. We're going to, I'm going to, do what I normally do. You guys are going to see a special Terence Bud Crawford. And I'm like, damn, dude, are you trying to talk low? Bro, Bud and Spence are boring, just fight already. Well, here's the thing. I think, they're not hype men. I don't think they're boring in effect. They're just not they're not extroverts. Okay? They're not extroverts. They're not. They're just these type of dudes. They're quiet. Now, Errol, I think, is a little bit more, but even he's like kind of monotone, right? He's just kind of sound. He has a twang that makes you think like, dude, are you on that shit? What are you doing? Are you drunk? I heard you being, Jamaican. Oh, bro, we got to get to that. We got to get to that. So we have to get to that. Kurt, there is too much weight class in boxing, huge turnoff, and too match belt. Too much weight class in boxing. Too many weight classes? Yeah. Too many weight classes in boxing. Yeah. Well, what are you going to do about it? But you know why those weight classes are created, right? Because the more champions, the more belts. The more belts, the more sanctioning fees. The more sanctioning fees, the more money in these committees' pocket. Okay? So if you had 4 weight classes, 4, that means they only get 4 checks from each champion. But if you had 8, that's double the pay. So you have to understand what that means. It's business. Boxing is a business. It's the sport that I love that I hate so much. No, but I didn't see that Stamina for Sale interview with Chris Eubank Jr. where talked about having a fight with Teddy Atlas. Teddy bit his ear. No, I didn't hear that shit. So maybe that's where Mike Tyson got that from. He hung around Teddy Atlas a long time. And then, Teddy's kind of And see, Teddy's older now, but you can still tell he has a quick temper and he's very ferocious. Very ferocious. You know, what are you talking about? He's very ferocious. Okay, so yeah. Teddy probably taught Mike some things. I'll look at that though. I gotta, support my boy anyway. That's Spence and Tumbe, right? So I will check it out. In fact, Alan Skill, send me that link. So I don't have to go searching for it. Because when you send it to me, I can see it, and it's a good reminder. You know, Bud okay, let's see. Kurt, all right. I got Bud by KO. Errol not healthy and is talking about other things other than boxing. Well, I don't know. Daniel, I see you got your horse officially in the Spence versus Crawford race. I just finished watching your live video from yesterday now, but I agree. You're a logical thinker. I know you want Spence to win, as do I. Well, I don't think it's me wanting anything, Daniel. It's who's going to win. Because whoever wins is going to be the best. This ain't the Dennis Ugas PBC setup bullshit possibly fight. It's not anything like that. This is Terence Crawford that's coming from another platform. He ain't been coached by Al Heyman for nothing. He has no vested interest. Ugas did. Ugas has 4 or 5 losses. Do you think that really benefited boxing if Ugas beat Errol Spence? No, you sit there, Ugas, and you take that ass whooping like a good boy because that's what I told you to do. Shut up, boy, you work for me. And if you do shut up and you do work for me, you do what I tell you to do. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Ugas, El Cubano, took that ass whooping. He took that ass whooping because he knew this does not benefit me beating Errol Spence up. He didn't even fight after that. I'm like, dude, why are you sitting there bent over and Errol Spence is just jamming you with these uppercuts and these hooks? He's destroying you, bro. This dude's big and tall and strong and powerful, and you let him hit you. You didn't do that in the first part of the fight. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let's move on. Bud don't do a lot of touch, talk, just deliver tough but ass whooping. Absolutely. Bud is just confident because he was doing a lot of sparring with heavyweights. To be fair, Adonis Creed wasn't at his best for some of that camp. Yeah, I remember him in Creed, bro. Creed 3, Terence Crawford was in there. Errol liked to slick talk with a little rah-rah. Absolutely. And, that's Errol, though. And I think he's better than Terence Crawford. People are quick to criticize Crawford's resume, but he can only get in the ring with an opponent that is willing to fight him. Skrilla 50, you are so correct. Counterpunch to you. See, he fought everybody else outside that circle of PBC because the PBC was pretty much freezing him out. They didn't want that. You had Keith Thurman. No, Derrick Crawford, that boy don't want to. He ain't no real welterweight. I'll beat Terence Crawford. He got to fight somebody else before he comes up in here. You guys remember Keith Thurman? Keith Thurman didn't even respect Terence Crawford as a welterweight. They did him like they did Holyfield when he came to the heavyweight division. They didn't respect him. He was too small. He was too this. He was too that. That's what Keith Thurman did to Terence Crawford. And weight classes exist for a reason. All right. Yeah, that's true, Malik. Will do. That was not the same Ugas who fought Pac-Man. Obviously, there wasn't because there was no incentive. Pac-Man is old. He's on his way out. It was fair game. Ugas, mátalo. That was not the same Ugas. No, it wasn't. Kingsley. Hello, Kurt. You remain my favorite and unbiased boxing analyst. Special greetings from Germany. Nice. Germany in the building, people. Worldwide. Errol Spence don't look right, and he's even and not even sparring. I got Bud. Joey, I don't know what he's doing. You know, maybe that's the Jedi mind trick. Maybe he wants you to think that he's not sparring and he's fighting, he's working out like a beast. You don't know that. I doubt that. Because look, here's the deal. What would Errol Spence gain from not training the best to fight Terence Crawford? Think about that. Think about that for a second. Nothing. He would lose a possible Canelo fight or a possible Canelo fights. See, Canelo, yeah, we know he's slowing down a bit. He didn't look good against John Ryder, right? He didn't look good against him at all. He looked mediocre. He looked like he was slowing down. He threw less punches. He didn't press the gas. So you think Errol Spence don't see that? You think Errol Spence didn't see that fight with Ryder? And thought to myself, you know what? I'll beat the shit out of Canelo if he gives me an opportunity. I'm his age. They're both. Matter of fact, Errol is March, April, May, June, July. He's 5 months older than Canelo Alvarez. So he knows there's an incentive for me beating Terence Crawford because when I become undisputed, I become just like my buddy Jermell. Jermell is also undisputed at 154. Okay? Canelo is undisputed at 168, which is 2 weight classes above him. But Canelo is a cash cow. Errol Spence can move up because he's a big boy anyway. People call him the weak weight bully, right? Okay, so why wouldn't he train for Terence Crawford? I don't even want to hear that noise because I believe that Terence Crawford is the guy that he needs to beat because that's the guy that everybody else should supposed to fault. Okay? And he's going to do it. And why not be that guy to dethrone Terence Crawford? Yes, he's training hard. I don't believe any of that shit, Joey. I don't believe any of that. Not at all. And then you know he's talking about like belts and fight purses. No. I don't believe that at all. Pac-Man wanted $40 million to fight Bud. No, he wanted $20 million. Skrilla, he wanted $20 million. Yeah, he wanted $20 million. And Bob, I'm not giving Manny Pacquiao $20 million to get laid off on his ass. Same way they disrespected Ugas when he first came in. Yeah, you know, needless to say, right? He's going to have to just keep beating people. So he has to keep winning. If he gets knocked and chinned by Danny Dubois, people going to say the same shit. He was too small anyway. Joshua's a bum. Derek Chisora is way past his prime. And there you go. That would be the narrative of the time. Bars. Canelo versus Badu will be a great fight, a good fight. Can't wait. It'll be okay. Arizism in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Much love. You back. Kurt, I have a feeling that this pay-per-view will only do 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I don't know. I don't give a shit what it does. I'm going to buy it. You guys make sure you buy it and you watch it with me because I will be live for that fight. I will be amped. I hope not to lose my voice like I did last Saturday. I lost it, people. It was gone. My voice was done. I was done. And it wasn't because of Tio and Josh Taylor. It was because of Munguia and Deverenchenko. That fight was classic. That might be the fight of the year. And Deverenchenko, again, wants a rematch, mind you. He wants a rematch because he said, man, I've been hit harder than that by other people. Where you hit harder to the body like that because Munguia went to that body and hurt that guy. But you understand, he's 37 years of age. Yeah, 37 years of age, man. You know what I mean? Errol has been in training already. It was commented on by Bellew. Okay, there you go. I believe that. Just like I explained to you guys. Kurt, will you be live for the Regis fight? Absolutely. Wait, is he fighting Saturday? I might be back in time. I may. Because I'm headed back to the ATX. I stand corrected. Thank you, Kurt. Skrilla 50. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense because Spence versus talking about how Sean didn't train properly. So I don't think he would do the same thing. No, he wouldn't. Davion Holmes. No, he wouldn't. James West coming in with that 20 months with Counterpunch Silver. Man, you got to inbox me, man. I think because I know I have to. Matter of fact, after this live, I have to see the guy that does all my shirts and my orders. So I got, a few orders to go out. So yeah, get with me. If Errol loses, he's a bum to casuals. No, he don't. If he loses to Terence Crawford, you're supposed to elevate Crawford. Don't diss Spence. Elevate Crawford. And you understand that is a special man. That's something like a pretty boy Floyd Mayweather mixed with a money Mayweather. Because he has the skill, but he also has the aggression and the power. Okay? And the temperament. He wants to get you out of there. Absolutely. I like the respect that they have for each other. I do too. TV knowledge, it reminded me of hearing these guys before I continue. It reminded me of Mickey Ward and Turo Gotti. Because those guys didn't have no bad blood, no beef, no bullshit, no deep-rooted anger, none of that. They didn't have any of that for each other. But those fights were the best fights. Those fights were the best fights. Okay? Because but that just shows you, yes, trash talk and guys like Teofimo Lopez and Keith Thurman and AB and Muhammad Ali and all these guys can talk about all this shit about, I'm going to kill him in the ring. I want a body. I physically, literally want to kill you. And I can't wait to, all that shit. Look, that's all build up. But it don't really take it to have a classic fight between each other. It takes your style versus the other guy's style. Your desire versus the other guy's desire. Your will versus the other guy's will. That's what it takes to be great. And that's what this fight is about. It ain't about trash talk, obviously, because what are we hearing? We're hearing, we want to go in there. I promise you, Derrick James won't stop me. Errol Spence won't stop me. Nobody's going to stop me. That's what you have. Let's continue with Errol Spence, by the way. Let's go.
Thank you, Chairman. Come to the podium. This man has a 78% knockout percentage. 6 of his last 7 opponents, former world champions. 3 of them were current world champions. He took away their straps. He is the unified welterweight champion of the world. He's known as the truth. Big fish, man down, Errol Spence Jr.
How everybody doing today? Good. I feel like this is the biggest fight in boxing. If you look at Terence style, look at my style, you already know. I'm definitely not gonna want to break. But I feel like somebody has to break come fight night. And we need all y'all to support us because, we gotta show these people in suits, we gotta show these other fighters that there is a reward in taking risks. So the best gotta fight the best, and we gotta show people that, especially people in suits and these other boxers, that you fight the best, it's a reward for that. And I'm just grateful to being here, man. Very blessed for this opportunity to be the first ever undisputed welterweight champion of the world and fighting a great fighter like Terence Crawford. I'm ready to put on a great show, a great performance, and show people how great I am and show people why I will be one of the best welterweights ever of all time. I'm telling you, do not want to miss this fight. This is going to be a great fight. I'm putting on a great show. I'm going to show everybody why I be breaking people. Make sure y'all tune in July 29th. It's going to be another man down, and this is strap season time.
Yeah, Errol, Skrilla 50. It does sound like Errol Spence is on that lane, but you have to understand, he always sounds like that. Except when he was talking about Terence Crawford. You guys remember when he was like, who would Terence Crawford fought? Who was he fought? Who would Terence Crawford fought? Man, they just smoking mirrors, man. They smoking mirrors. Who he fought? Ndongo just got knocked out. You know what I mean? And I think Errol Spence, again, like those guys like that, uh, you know, the rumors are around them, the car accident, the party life, and the DWI, because I mean they did find, this is facts. This isn't something that I think. This is actually what happened. Okay, he was already in the hospital, and a lot of times when you end up in the hospital due to drunk driving, the hospital also becomes the jail cell. You get special privileges simply because you're hurt or whatnot. And I think that happened to Errol Spence. You wake up with a damn handcuff on you on the sidebar, right? So I believe that might have happened. I don't know if they put her handcuffs on him, but definitely he got charged with a DWI because he'd been drinking. Now, he does sound that way, but I think he sounds that way anyway. He's from DeSoto Parish. That's 3 hours that way, people. Okay. That's 3 hours that way, probably less than 3 hours away. And they talk like that. A lot of people talk like that. Not all people in DeSoto Parish talk like that, but that is, it's called a lazy tongue. I know a lot of people, they just have a lazy tongue like this. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna whoop them. I'm gonna show everybody that I am the best and I will be the first, undisputed. That's all I'm gonna do. That's what I really want to do, and y'all can't miss this fight. You know what I mean? That's that Texas lean. Yeah, that's the Texas twang. That's right. But just because he talks slow, don't mean he thinks and fights slow. Right? So that's what that is. But you have to also give Errol Spence props for doing what? Like he said, we have to show these people in suits why it's a good idea for fighters that have never been beaten, fighters on different platforms, to come together to show that these guys, that they can sell. Because a lot of times that it don't make sense shit, that comes from those guys in suits that he was talking about. The networks. They're like, okay, why should we put these guys from ESPN and Showtime and bring them together when we can just stay separate and make money off of these guys, because these guys have enough fans or whatever to make money for us that we are accustomed to making? Why would we risk that from this guy coming over here and our guy over with us and bringing them together? Why would we risk that? That's what he's trying to tell you. He's trying to tell you, listen, let's make sure we support this fight, because this fight being made, a lot of people were skeptical because of the money wasn't behind these two fighters to get the fight done. And the fight's done. So guess what? Don't fuck that fire stick. Fuck those free streams. Fuck those illegal ways of watching this fight. Watch the fight clear and clean on pay-per-view Showtime. That's what you need to do. See, the same people that talk about, oh man, these fights these people ain't even selling, man, nobody want to see them. You're the same silly son of a bitches that are watching it free. The only way that I would warrant you guys watching it free is that it's not in your country. That's the only way. And then you have to have some way or find some way to watch the fight. That would be the only way, because you want to watch it, because you want to see it, because you want to enjoy yourself. You're a boxing fan. I get it. But at the end of the day, at the very, very, very end of the day, you're supposed to fight these fighters that put their blood, sweat, lives on the line for you guys, our entertainment. Counterpunch. That's what Errol was talking about. Yes, he said it in his own Texas twang way, but he's telling the absolute God honest truth. You got to support these guys, because when these suits see, well, it didn't do that. Well, we're not going to take that risk again. What will happen? Well, what will happen is the fighters or the suits won't want to invest in big fights like this no more. And what does that really ultimately mean? The fights we want to see, we won't see. And it won't be because of the fighters, because the fighters are not getting paid, the way they're supposed to. Okay. They're not getting paid the way they're supposed to. You know what I mean? So unless you are your own entity, unless you're like a Floyd Money Mayweather, you're not going to get the money that you deserve for these fights. These guys, based on the pay-per-view sales, get the money they supposed to get, hopefully. That's that Al Heyman stuff. That's the old model anyway. Pay-per-view. We're paying to view these fighters. Put on a boxing clinic, showing you their best, showing you their skill, showing you why you watch the sport, supposedly. Hell, it ain't just about me talking about the shit. I want to see it too. But I want to make sure these fighters are getting paid because maybe, just maybe, Errol the True Spence, maybe his twang ain't his twang originally. Maybe his twang is because he got hit too many times. Come on now. So I might go to the bar and watch it. Well, you're going to pay a cover, which is fine. You know, they're going to charge you 11, 12, 15 bucks to get in. I like to educate myself in the boxing game all the time, King Mike. Okay, so let's continue.
Thank you, champ. Let's talk. Let's talk about this fight. Start with the trainers. Bomac, you said without a doubt, your guy is going to win on July 29th. Enlighten the people. Tell us why you believe Terence Bud Crawford is going to win this fight, and you believe in a stoppage.
Brian, I want to ask you a question and everybody else out there. What beats ready?
What beat ready?
What beats ready?
Stay ready.
Been there and back. We've been there and back. We've been undisputed champion before. We've been in this position before. So this ain't nothing new to us. We just being more prepared because we know Errol's a good fighter. But we've been there. We've been in these fights before. Now, PBC, I commend them for getting Errol to this point. But we had to scrape through the dirt to get to undisputed at 140. We had to scrape through 147 to get to this point. So we was ready to let the fights go. We just going through the motions to pick up those 3 straps that he got over there in the league on title. This is why I know that Terence will be victorious July 29th.
Derrick James, your rebuttal to that. Tell us why Errol Spence Jr. will be victorious July 29th.
Well, Errol Spence will be victorious because of the way he was brought up. He was brought up to be in the space that he's in because of the way he was developed. Each opposition being better and better and better and better. It wasn't like beating guys you were supposed to beat, beating guys everybody knew you were going to beat. So at this point, every fight he fought was a step towards this day, this night, July 29th. That's what it was all about. From him saying he wanted to be undisputed champion of the world when he started, to every step that Al and TGP, Sylvia Brad, every step that he took towards Errol being the man that he is, facing the tough opposition, building more depth. Because this is like, we talk about skill, both fighters are skill, this fight is about depth. Who can endure the tough adversity that these fights is going to put them in through, and at the same time, somebody's faced these things, and some people haven't faced these things. And like what I'll say is that depth is the key. Depth is what the thing is going to push you through when you're tired, you get beat. How much more pain can you endure? The pain of being unsuccessful is far more worse than the pain it takes to be successful. So we push it through the pain, we'll be successful. And that's why he'll be champion, again, undisputed champ on July 29th, because of everything he went through to get to this particular point.
But
Nice rebuttal from Derrick James. You know, Bomac's like, hey, we've been here before. We've been here, done that. Errol has not. And we were ready 10, 11 fights ago to fight Errol Spence. And we just went through the ropes. We had to dig deep. And what he's saying, Bomac was saying that they basically had to fight those guys that would fight them. So, you know what I mean? That's what it would warrant. Now, Derrick James was like, hey, because we had these fighters that we could fight, you know, Errol had a nice opposition balance there. Kurt, this fight is 2 years too late. No, it ain't. Kurt talked like Derrick James. I got to hear him talk again, but it's kind of like he has Derrick James talks like a long shark. You better come with that money. I'm gonna break your legs. I'm gonna break your legs in 5 places. If you don't come with that money, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna break your legs. Then after I break your legs, I'm gonna break your fingers. It sounds like a creeper. Evander Holyfield, Duck Lomachenko. Evander Holyfield, Duck Lomachenko. Mastermind 96. What? Anyway, let's continue.
What is the victory on July 29th mean to you specifically, especially coming against Errol Spence Jr.?
Well, a victory July 29th for me means everything for me and my career to date. Being that a lot of people doubted me, and that's when I rise to the occasion. When I got all the odds stacked against me. Errol's a tremendous fighter. Like I told everybody before, I'm a fan. It's just business. I know I can beat him. I feel I can beat him. I see myself beating him. I visualized it numerous times before. Fighting Sean Porter, I told him, I said, listen, they only want to gauge me for Errol. I knew this time would be here, and I'm ready, more than ready. So when that time comes, July 29th, and my hand is ready, rose, and I'm the new undisputed welterweight champion of the world, all I'm gonna say is I told you so. That's it.
None.
I know I can beat him. I believe I can beat him. I've seen myself beat him. You know who that reminds me of, though? That reminds me of Alexander Usyk. Because you remember when Usyk came into the heavyweight division, he wanted to fight Anthony Joshua. He was at Anthony Joshua fights. He was at that Povetkin fight. Yeah. Usyk was at the Povetkin fight in 2018. He got the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua 3 years later in 2021. Then he beat him again in 2022. But the point I'm trying to make is he's seen that fight. He took notes. He knows that he can beat these guys. And see, understand, Terence Crawford, I believe, has been studying Errol Spence long before Errol Spence has been studying Terence Crawford. Okay? Shout out to Wicked Intense Simi coming in with that. Cinco! Kurt, do a Derrick James impression. Wicked Intense Simi. If you don't come with that money, I'm going to break your legs. I'm going to find out where you at. I already know what kind of car you drive. And I'm going to come behind your car. And you ain't going to see me. I'm going to snatch you out your car, put you in the back of my truck, and I'm going to break your legs. Kurt, I always think Emmanuel Stewart would have been very good boxing trainer for Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was good all by himself, you know? So, yeah. But, yeah, Terence just showed me that he was determined and he knew. He was just telling you, that, hey, people always thought that I couldn't do it. And I like that idea. But then here's the problem. How many people think Terence Crawford can beat Errol Spence, though? It's hard to say that or to convince people of that when the odds are in your favor for winning. Counterpunch. I wonder if that takes a little steam or a little desire off. You know what I mean? That's what I wonder. Kurt, can you do an impression of Errol Spence showing AJ around Texas? Yeah, Skrilla 50 in the building. Let's come in with a duh. Hey AJ, it is man, that Texas Stadium. You seen Texas Stadium? You know them stadium you got over there in the UK. This is the biggest motherfucker we got over here. This is like Wembley for us. This our Wembley. So yeah, that's that over there. You know, I can take you down to let me take you to Legacy. I'm gonna take you up to Frisco. It's gonna look like Beverly Hills. I know you've been to Beverly Hills, but you're gonna see Beverly Hills. You're gonna see these sisters. You like big black women, right? You like big booty. What black women don't you? You're gonna see a lot of them in Frisco, Texas. So I'm gonna take you down to that. You gonna like I'm gonna like it? Yeah, you gonna like it. You smoke bud, AJ? Nah, I used to, man. I used to. Nah, I don't now. Come on, man, smoke that bud. That's legal. It's legal. All you gotta do, we can go up here to Oklahoma and get us, all the weed we want. Nah, man, it's man, we got that medical marijuana over here, man. We Jamaican. So I know you like to get down. I heard about you. I heard your name Ghost. I know it. I watched Power. I saw Power. That's why you talking like that. Yeah, that's why you talk. Yeah, that's why you talking like that. Errol like big button liquor bottles, big bottom liquor bottles. Okay, Kurt Bomack is the best trainer since Freddie Roach. And look, we're gonna continue.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't it your mother's birthday as well?
That's right.
Did you promise her something?
You know I ain't losing on my mama's birthday.
Errol, same question to you. What does it mean to be victorious on the 29th? More importantly, what does it mean to get that victory over Terence Crawford?
It means everything. I mean, I feel like I've done everything I said I was going to do. And now the only thing last thing to do is to beat Terence Crawford. Yeah, he's a great fighter, has great ability, great willpower. But he's a great man too. I'm a breaker. And I'm going to show everybody why I am the best fighter in boxing, period. And show everybody why I am the number one guy in boxing. Yeah, he's going to come and fight, but I'm going to break his will. I'm going to break him mentally, physically, and just show people why I am a great fighter. Despite what I've been to, the adversities and things like that, I always kept on the same path. And to be the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, there's been a lifelong dream of mine. It's something I've been wanting for a long time, something I've been clamoring over. And regardless of any situation, I always stayed the course and knew that this fight was going to happen and that I will become victorious.
Errol, let me follow up on that. Because listening to Bud, he says, listen, you may talk about his resume, but he's been undisputed before. So this is nothing new to him. Therefore, he's coming in, already been there at the pinnacle. This is new to you. Your response to that?
I mean, it's cool, but I'm not the guy who fought to become undisputed. I'm not that guy. I feel like that guy was not that good. Regis started took me in the first round too.
Two-time world champion.
Regis started took me in the first round too, man. Like, who that guy beat to be a two-time world champion?
He beat two champions.
Who?
He beat Troy Noski and he beat Ricky Burns, which was a three-time world champion.
Troy who? Come on, man. Come on.
And I think he went to Russia and beat him, and I think he went to Scotland and beat him.
Come on, man.
He tried to be great and come to Omaha and beat me. I don't think you fought nobody that was a two-time.
We ever been tested, he got stopped.
I don't think you ever fought a champion that was two-weight divisions, right?
It doesn't matter. All the titles I took from the champion. So what you saying?
Counterpunch.
Every title I took, Sean Porter, he champion.
He was a one-time, one-weight champion.
It don't matter. I'm taking it.
Well, you got the
Like I said, you line them up, I'm gonna knock them down every time. It don't matter what happens, personal life, whatever. Hey, man, give me him. You sure you want him? Yeah, this is easy work. Get him out.
This ain't no easy work.
Hey, you want him? Yeah. Oh, I know it's not easy work. I definitely know it's not easy work.
Okay.
I definitely know that. I ain't ain't that naive. I'm realistic.
I love this because one of the things you made when we were in LA, but you said, hey, look, this guy is so-called the big fish, but I'm gut fishing July 29th. Talk to us about that.
Well, you know, I like to go fishing. Everybody know those are my
Man, that's cat. He's not catching me with no fishing pole.
Hey, listen.
He's catching me with no fishing pole. What does it look like catching Moby Dick with a fucking fishing pole?
They all been caught before.
Yeah, not with no fishing pole.
And July 29th, he gonna be caught too. I got a big enough hook for him. And I'm already building him in. July 29th,
You ain't have a submarine.
I'm gonna put him on the bank. I'm gonna put him on the bank. I'm gonna gut him and I'm gonna fillet him.
You have a submarine.
Alright. We're gonna catch him. Well, matter of fact, we already caught him. We just reeling him in right now. And July 29th, that's when we're gonna get him to the bank. Probably weigh him, you know, put him on the scale.
You ain't got to feel big.
Chop his head. Cut him from, you know, the gut, the little butt up. You know, they take the little vice grips, pull the skin off, take the little knife.
You don't need to sound.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you,
Y'all like fish? How many of y'all like fish?
I love fish.
I bet your pops like fish too. You like fish, don't you, pops? Come on, you can say you like fish. You know, your son a big fish, so he love fish too. You know, so we don't do his pops.
Yeah, hey, yeah. We Jamaican, man. We smoke bud.
He's telling on himself. He's telling on himself.
We're gonna roll you up with smoke. Hey, how get that new blood strain?
You know what I mean? Y'all do smoke bud in Jamaica. I forgot. But this ain't
They do bud
this ain't no bud. This ain't no kind bud. You feel me? This ain't the bud that you just can buy on the streets. It's that marinated bud that you hit one puff, you might be seeing stars like how high. Just know.
Terence, man,
He talking about his wife. You don't do that.
you victorious on the 29th. You will be
We don't smoke wax.
first man to be undisputed in 2 different weight divisions.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Well, it's gonna mean everything to me July 29th. And I can guarantee you, July 29th, you're gonna see a Terence Crawford that you have never seen before. Everybody always asks me, is this the best Terence Crawford? And I said, no, I got a lot to show. Errol may be that fighter to bring the best out of Terence Crawford. We shall see.
Great stuff, people. Man, that was funny. We need more exchanges like that. Why? Because, you know, look, first of all, Errol told on himself. He said, you ain't gonna catch me in no fucking fishing pole. How you gonna catch Moby Dick with a fucking fishing pole? And I'm like, true. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yeah, you better have a submarine. Then he's talking about, man, we Jamaican, we smoke bud. Man, that killed it. That done it. Done. Listen. The verdict's in, people. The verdict is in. Errol Spence won this commentation. He won this, man. Errol won this because, see, Errol, you know, I think he's naturally a back and forth guy. He talks a certain way, but if like he was just like, he says, man, you ain't gonna catch me with no fucking fishing pole, man. You ain't catching me with a dude, it was hilarious, man. And you know what? He told on himself. Absolutely. Errol, the truth, Spence told the truth about what he does, and it ain't drink at all. It was weed. He admitted it. Man, we Jamaican, we smoke, but you think he don't? Matter of fact, you look at people's lips. What did Uncle Elroy say in Friday? He told Craig. He said, Craig, I know you smoke weed, don't you? Why you say that, Unc? Because your lips turning black. Okay, there you go. You know, so you got guys like that, man. Yeah, they. And it's crazy. In the 90s, people, used to look at weed like, dude, that's the gateway. Now it's fucking medicine. Healing cancers. Look, shout out to Chavarria. Okay. Chavarria was a stuntman, and he smoked a lot of bud, right? Yeah, he drinks too. You know what I mean? I've been to Jamaica. They do a little bit of this and they do a little bit of that. But, Mike Chavarria was a stuntman that had cancer. His dad had cancer. It was hereditary, okay? So, his dad passed, and then the doctors gave him 6 months to live. He started smoking bud, doing research on hemp and certain, weed. And that 6 months turned into 8 years. Yeah, he eventually passed, but seriously, you know what I mean? The bud kept him alive. He was sending out, a lot of people like, well, what are you doing different? Because, a lot of people have reached out to him in private, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is this and that, and he was like, hey, it is what it is. Like, this is what's keeping me strong. This is keeping those cancer cells at bay. Okay. Mastermind 96, appreciate you, brother. Bud put Jermell on notice too. Once he beats Spence, Charlo's next. Hey, well, see, both of those guys have things to do. That's what I love about these two fighters. See, if Errol beats Terence Crawford, right? Terence will probably get more backlash because people never really respected his resume anyway, and he wasn't that natural welterweight like people claimed he was. He didn't really get the respect at welterweight, even though he's knocked out last 6 of his opponents. That would be the narrative for that. It'll be bullshit, but it will be what it is, because Errol Spence is the guy that only he could do it because nobody else could, or nobody else wanted to. Okay? But if Terence beats Errol, then Errol goes on to fight guys like Canelo. Then Canelo doesn't have to worry about guys like Benavidez breathing down his neck, hounding him before a fight no more. He's going to go fight someone like Errol Spence and make it a super fight, and then that'll be that. Okay? Whereas Terence Crawford, if he beats Errol Spence, he gets to fight another undisputed champion with Jermell Charlo, and that's if Jermell Charlo fights and beats Tim Tszyu. If he beats Tim Tszyu, okay, that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at another Derrick James fighter taking on Terence Crawford. And then see, if he beats Errol Spence, it's going to be a 2-fight deal, so it won't happen until the last end of next year anyway, because he's going to have to fight Errol Spence again. It's in the contract, or whoever. So they're going to fight twice anyway, people, so keep that in mind. But I'm worried about one fight at a time. I'm not worried about the second fight right now until I saw the first. I'm not trying to rush anything. This is not a day, a less day for me. It's a day more for me. You know what I mean? I was talking to an ex like yesterday, and she was like, well, it's one day less. I'm like, no. It's one day more. You have another day to see the way, to enjoy yourself, to learn, to live, to grow. That's an opportunity, not less. It's more, because every day is not promised. Counterpunch. But anyway, no, these guys have things to do. It ain't like, hey, let me be like Teofimo, or let me be like Josh Taylor, or let me be like these guys that win these belts and then they just want to sit on it and not do shit. Or let me retire. No. These guys are not doing jack shit besides doing what they say they're going to do. Okay? That's what they're doing. They're moving forward. They're progressing in their career. Yep, I'm undisputed. Now, what else is next? Let's go. That's what I love about these two guys. That's why we should support these two guys. Because Errol Spence knows. Errol's eyeing, I want Canelo. Give me Canelo. He the undisputed 168. I was the undisputed 147. Then we'll fight. We'll be somewhere in the middle. Yep. Undisputed versus undisputed. Canelo versus Errol Spence. Errol Spence, undefeated. PBC fighter. Al Heyman's best. Right? Fighting Canelo Alvarez. Legend in the Mexican game. Done a lot of things, right? Was it 4 different weight classes now? Yeah, 4 different weight classes because you forget light heavyweight when he took out Kovalev, right? So it's junior welter, middle, super middle, and light heavy. So yeah, so you got Errol Spence coming in and wants that fight. Yeah, he'll fight Canelo. He's been eyeing Canelo for a long time. I would love to see that fight. And see, now I think it's a different Canelo. We'll see what these guys have left. Errol, the rum punch legend. Kurt, I am Jamaican. Big up Jamaica. Dari, Jamaica in the building. Errol Spence is not a star. After that Tony Harrison fight, Tim Tszyu is on a warpath. I would love to see it. James West, blessed by the best. Errol Spence is a superstar. Bomac is the best trainer in the world. Skrilla 50, Canelo's punches may be too much for Errol. Maybe. They may be. But then again, well, it depends on where they fight. Canelo won't risk losing at 168 because he's terrified of losing those belts. Golden King, I agree. He ain't trying to lose that shit. He went all over the world to get them. You think he's going to lose them because of trying to be ambitious? No. Because if that was the case, he would have fought Bivol at 168. He ain't trying to do that shit, is he? No. You know, but I think, he's being protected by Mauricio because Mauricio is pulling the political bullshit on Bivol. You know what I mean? So I don't think Bivol stands a chance anyway, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, that was very good stuff. Very good, great press conference. LA to New York. I'm glad I was able to go live with you guys. Check it out, counterpunch it. But I will go live in the future. I got a couple more videos for you guys coming out. I'm going to jump off of here. Enjoy the rest of this day. You guys tell me what you think about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, New York press conference. Please be there. Please subscribe. Please support this particular channel and please support this particular fight. And everyone, God bless you all, and you all have been counterpunched. Peace!